from Fox 56 Sports and Lexington Sporting Club. This is Around the Pitch.
Welcome to Around the Pitch. I'm joined by the leader of the Lexington Sporting Club women's team, rocking the C on her kit for game days, Taylor Aylmer. Taylor, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. How are you feeling?
Good. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
We were talking a little off camera. I mean, it's kind of unconventional. You're your first season, but you're already named the team captain. I mean, what does that mean to you just to be named the leader of the team your first time here?
It was a huge honor for me. It's a big position to fill, and I feel really grateful to step into this role for this team. And, you know, we talked a little bit, this season for us is a little unconventional. We have so many new faces joining this club, so it's just been a collective effort as a group to form that team unity.
Okay, and I mean, what goes into forming that team unity? Obviously, there's good stuff that's happening on the pitch, but it's not just all the play. There's things happening behind the scenes in the locker room, off the pitch. So what kind of goes into making all that team unity?
I think, especially off the pitch, it's, you know, taking the time to get to know your teammates, get to know what people are like and their interests off the field. And I think once you build those kind of relationships, everything on the field just seems to fall into place.
Yeah. And you kind of mentioned a very young team, a very talented team, though. But what are some of the challenges kind of with having a younger team and kind of being one of the more experienced, one of the few experienced people? How do you kind of go about leading these young players to a successful season?
Yeah, I think that the professional game is very different than, per se, college. So for our younger players, this is a new environment. The season's much longer. You kind of have different ebbs and flows. So just guiding them through that and staying true to our path and what we want to be towards the end of the season, which is the champions of this league. So just keeping that in mind. Okay,
and you've had a good start to the season, 3 draws, 1 win, but how have y'all kind of been able to translate all this unity and success off the pitch into these wins and draws? No losses yet, a couple clean sheets. So have you all been able to translate all this great team bonding off the field into success on the pitch?
For us, the clean sheets is huge, and that's a big step. That's something we're really proud of, just being organized. And now it's just continuing to be creative on the ball in the attacking third and put away our chances. We've definitely been creating a lot. Now it's just that final execution, and I think each game it's gotten a little better. And, you know, we keep saying once the floodgates open, I think we'll be good.
Okay. And captains are often kind of an extension of the coaching staff, the head coach. So how has Coach Matt kind of been able to utilize you and your voice to kind of get his message across for what he wants out there on the pitch and how he wants the team to operate?
I think being a captain under Mac has been so easy. Just the way that he is and the environment that he creates for us players. He is very player oriented. He wants the best for us as players, as people, and he lets us express ourselves and have the freedom on and off the pitch. So it's been pretty easy to just work with him and to foster that kind of environment for everyone.
Okay. Is there anything that you and him have kind of gone back and forth about, that you've kind of had a player-coach moment where it's like, hey, players need this, I know coaches want this, but you kind of had a moment where it's like, you come together and realize, oh wait, this is what we really need?
You know, I think that our staff is so incredible. I can't say we've had a problem like that. They are amazing and open to feedback, but it's been pretty smooth sailing with that, and knowing that their door is always open. If us players have anything that we're like, hey, we need some help with this, they're very open to that, and they just want the best for us.
Okay, and you've played at quite a few teams. You've played in Gotham, you played in Finland, you played down in Louisville. We forgive you for that. And then you played in Spokane. So how have you kind of taken all this experience and brought it here to Lexington to kind of help translate to all the success you all are having early on?
Yeah, I've definitely bounced around a little bit in my career, and I think in each of those environments I've played a different role within the team. So I think having those lived experiences in different teams, different leagues, different positions for myself is really important, and I think it helps me relate to players now, especially being a little older of a player. If I see someone younger that's kind of going through maybe what I went through as a younger player, it's easy to connect.
Okay, and speaking of Spokane's effort, you got them coming up this weekend. So how are you all preparing for, you know, a big match? Because they're one of the top 2 teams right now in the standings. So you're preparing for that against your old squad.
Yeah, so we actually just played them, and then we played Dallas, and then we go to Spokane again. But I think it's always fun to play, you know, people you know, but at the end of the day, we prepare the same kind of for any team. And then the only difference is after the game, at least you get to catch up with some friends.
Well, Taylor, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you can catch up with them after a winning effort, but thank you so much for being here. We'll be right back with more Around the Pitch.
Thank you.
You're watching Around the Pitch with Lexington Sporting Club.
Welcome back to Around the Pitch. Joining me now is another member of the midfield for Lexington Sporting Club's women's team, Shea Moyer. Shea, your second season on team as a super sub. You were captain last year. How are you kind of taking this new role this season?
Yeah, I'm just doing whatever is asked of me to help the team. Right now I'm in a scenario where what's being asked of me is to come onto the game and try to change it or just do whatever that game calls for, whether it's seeing the game out if we're up or adding some spark or energy if we're down or anything like that. The goal is to just help the team win, help the team get 3 points. So doing whatever's asked of me, and hopefully the team comes away with 3 points.
Okay, it's a very young team, but you're kind of one of the veterans on the team. So how are you kind of taking this leadership role in stride to kind of lead this young but very talented team?
Yeah, it's actually so weird because in my head I'm like 22 still, but I'm not. I'm 26. 26, and I'm one of the older ones, so I definitely have a lot of experience and professional time under my belt, so I try to use that experience to help in any way that I can. But we have a team full of experienced players, honestly, as well, so it's a good group.
Okay, and we just had your captain on, Taylor, right before you, and you were the captain last year, like we mentioned. So how have you kind of been helping Taylor with that transition? You know, hey, this is what the captain needs to do. This is how we do things here. How you kind of help with that transition, so to speak?
Taylor's a natural-born leader, so I don't think much needs to be said about that. She was the captain at Spokane last year, so she's just a top player, top person, and nothing needs to be said to her.
Okay, we kind of keep harping on the youngness of the team, but there's a lot of experience as well. Taylor's played for several teams. Tati's played for a lot of teams. Yep. So how is kind of this mixture of youth and experience playing for several different clubs kind of blending together for the team?
I think it's blended together perfectly. We have a lot of different players who bring different aspects to the game, whether it's on the field, off the field, in the locker room. I think we have a good mix of personalities and everyone gets along. But I think the young players bring a certain spice and different element to the game, and the older ones, whether it's maturity in seeing a game out or just maturity to know what the game calls for, we can bring that, and it's just a good mix altogether.
Okay. Taylor talked a lot about kind of unity, you know, off the pitch in the locker room, just when you all are out. How are you all kind of building this team camaraderie with such a young team with people coming in from everywhere? Because it's a lot of first players' experiences here in Lexington.
Yeah, I think it almost feels like an entirely new team just because it's so many new people this year. So obviously we do the normal team bonding things that teams do, but all in all, the girls get along well together, and I think you never know what kind of team environment you're going to get yourself into, but I think we're really lucky here. Everyone gets along well with each other, and we spend time with each other outside of the field as well, and I think team unity off the field translates to on the field, and I think when you watch our games, you can see that we're a close-knit team.
And captains and kind of vets of the team are extension of the coaches and coaching staff. So how are you kind of helping, get Coach Mac's message across of what he wants from all the players and, what he wants to see out there?
Yeah, I think Mac's message and the type of football, the style of football that we want to play, I think it translates straight away. And then I think the goal is just every day, every training session, coming out and really living those principles, not just in the games, but in the trainings every day, in the day-to-day life as well, and how we, treat our staff members and all the lovely people who give us meals and stuff like that. So I think the principles that he's trying to instill in us, we just try to live by every day.
We all have gotten off to a great start, 3 draws, 1 win. You have a tough opponent coming up, Spokane Zephyr. You all just played them, but how are you all trying to keep this momentum going, keep the early success going into the rest of the season?
Yeah, obviously we're undefeated, which is a hard thing to do in this league. It can be very transitional, so it's actually really hard to keep a clean sheet. So that's something that we're really proud of. And then it's just putting together the final pieces to come away with 3 points. It's a long season, but every game matters, so we need to find a way to come away with 3 points more often.
Okay. What's been the biggest challenge for you so far? Obviously a lot of success, but obviously you have to kind of figure those things out. So what's been the biggest challenge for you so far with the young team and just, kind of getting those clean sheets and everything and just kind of keeping the success going?
Yeah, I think it's not getting too high and not getting too low as well. It's a long season, like I said, so I think one of the challenges that we face is just keeping the same mentality week in and week out, regardless of what's happening. We have the same goal, which is winning the league and winning the Shield, and regardless of what the week brings, the biggest challenge is coming in and keeping the mentality week in and week out throughout the season.
All right, well, Shea, hopefully a lot more wins to come. It
Yes.
seems like it will with you kind of helping lead the way. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be right back with more Around the Pitch after this.
You're watching Around the Pitch with Lexington Sporting Club. This is Around the Pitch with Lexington Sporting Club.
Welcome back to Around the Pitch. We are joined by Tati Fung, who's in the middle with her team captain, Taylor Aylmer, who we just had on. I mean, what's it like being out there in the middle with the captain?
Honestly, playing next to Taylor is like the best thing that I could have ever gotten to experience. She's such a leader on the field, so having her in my ear, coaching me up sometimes, and she's such a veteran, so learning from her has been really awesome.
And Shea was your captain last year. Now it's Taylor. What do you think? Is there a big difference in how they kind of captain the team or anything like that?
Well, I just met Shea as well.
Oh.
So meeting Shea this year, I mean, she's always vocal. I mean, having her to support you on the side is so huge for us. I mean, we're literally doing warm-ups in the morning, and she's in your ear just coaching you up. So she's such a good person to have behind you.
Okay. And you kind of mentioned your first season, Lexington,
Yes.
a very young team, but how are you all kind of gelling and coming together? Because you all have had some good success, 3 draws and a win so far this
Yeah.
season. So how are you all coming together as a young team this early to have this success?
It's actually pretty cool. I mean, we got here day one, and it kind of seemed like we all clicked pretty fast. I mean, some of the girls on the team, it feels like I've known them forever. So having the team chemistry this early on is probably going to help us go a long way.
Okay, you kind of said Shea, as a coach, he's getting on you all, but how is Coach Mack when he's on the sideline, during a game, during practice? How is he?
He's someone that you can just feel that he believes in you. I mean, from the moment we got here, he pretty much told us, I trust every single one of you to play your game. I don't want you to be someone else. I want you to be you, and that's the reason you're here. So knowing that he has the trust in us to go do what we do, it's pretty great.
Okay, I mean, what does that mean to a player that a coach, to a very young team is like, I trust you guys, I'll coach, but I'm going to let you all kind of do your thing. So what does that just mean to the squad that, your coach trusts you all like that?
Trusting in that, where it's like you make a mistake, you can look and your whole team just comes together. I think when one falls, we all go together. So having each other's back on the field's been pretty big. And I think one of the best key pieces is when one goes down, we fight so hard to pick them back up and, make sure we all go again together. Okay.
You were in Fort Lauderdale last year. So how have you kind of taken that experience being down in Florida and brought it here? How have you kind of translated that to help the team out?
So I think there, I was a true rookie. I had no prior experience, just fresh out of college, And coming into that environment, it's so different. You know, college, you know, pretty chill, not as crazy as here. So getting to learn from some of those older girls and then kind of bring the experience I learned from watching there kind of helped me a lot here.
Well, you had a lot of success in college, so, you know, let's not sleep on that a little bit, but you did pretty well in college.
Yeah, college is a great time. I love college soccer. It's so big for us.
Okay. And well, now, Tati, we're going to take a little time to get to know you. You were a true rookie last year. You're a rookie kind of here in Lexington. But, I mean, what's the biggest difference between here and Fort Lauderdale, you think?
Probably the weather's different. I think, post-training we'd go to the beach. And here, post-trainings are a little different. But going to get coffee here has been our big thing we like to do. Okay.
So you just kind of jumped ahead to my next question. You're a big coffee drinker. Do you have a favorite spot you like to go or anything like that?
We kind of have been trying a bunch of places. Old School's pretty good. We like matcha a lot, so any matcha recommendations, you got to give it to us.
All right. You heard it, everyone. Give her matcha
recommendations.
All right. And what about food? Do you have a favorite restaurant that you all like to go to, that you yourself like to go to?
Honestly, not yet, but we did go to the local taco.
Okay.
And that was pretty good. They had a good quesadilla for us, so a bunch of us went together.
Is there anywhere that you want to try that people around town or even people on the team are like, you got to go here? Is there anywhere that you've been dying to try?
Honestly, no. We need more recommendations. We've been struggling on that end. We eat at the same typical places. We've gone to BJ's. We've gone to Drake's a lot.
All right.
Post-game.
Drake's is a popular place for UK, so I think you're fitting right in right now.
Yeah.
But you heard that matcha and food.
Yeah,
so
please.
All right, and then when you all are traveling, what's one thing or a couple things you always have to pack with you to bring with you?
Ooh, that's a great question. Honestly, headphones. I think if I traveled with no headphones, I don't think I'd survive a plane ride. And honestly, being with all the team during travel is pretty fun, so there's always something going on.
Okay, and you mentioned headphones. You know, what do you listen to? What's on the playlist? What's on the pregame hype playlist?
Oh, we're super into house music right now. No Broke Boys by Disco Lines, like our team's anthem right now.
Okay. Is there anyone who maybe is not allowed to play music or anything like that?
I don't know if there's anyone that I wouldn't allow, but we always put Alyssa on aux. She's mandatory on it.
Okay. And you're playing house music. Who are you putting on if you're allowed on aux? Who's your first pick?
I'm putting John Summit on. We made a joke that if we won the league this year, that we want John Summit to come do a private performance for us.
All right, Tati, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You heard her already, folks. I'll say it again, matcha and food recommendations. Anywhere you got, she needs to hear them. But Tati, again, thank you so much for being here.
It's awesome.
We'll be right back after the break.
You're watching Around the Pitch with Lexington Sporting Club. This is Around the Pitch with Lexington Sporting Club.
Welcome back to Around the Pitch. We're going on the defensive side this time as we are joined by Maddy Perez from Lexington Sporting Club. And Maddy kind of has some interesting, kind of a fun trivia fact. First ever assist on the first goal ever for Lexington Sporting Club. But I mean, how does it feel to be in the history books and just see the growth that this team has had since you've gotten here?
Yeah, it's great. Last year was last year. I'm excited for this year. We've gone pretty strong throughout the beginning, and we're kind of looking to keep going.
Okay. And you're kind of one of the few returning players, one of the veterans, so to speak, on a very young but talented team. So kind of how have you been taking this leadership role as one of the people who knows how it works around here and giving that to the younger and new players on this team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just making sure they all know what's going on, whatever they need, we're here. Obviously, I'm young, so leadership, but also still being led by other girls, so which is nice, but kind of just being approachable, making the new girls comfortable, showing them around Lexington, whatever they need, and obviously just still being there as a teammate and a person outside.
And how are you kind of helping Coach Mack kind of get his message across of how he wants you all to play, what he wants to see out there on game day?
Mm-hmm. Like you said, kind of the leadership role, I've been a leader all my life through club, college, so kind of just buying into whatever's going on. They know what they're doing. It's a new staff, so all the girls are new as well, so it's kind of everyone getting accustomed, but kind of just making sure everybody's on the same page, trying to work as one, reach our end goal.
And you all have had a lot of success, 1 win, 3 draws, a lot of defensive success in that, 3 clean sheets out of 4 matches. What do you think kind of goes into having all this success on defense to pitch these shutouts?
Well, at training, they really push kind of the defensive side, us doing our job, but it also starts from the very top of the field. So every line doing their defensive job leads to us being able to do ours, and just celebrating big wins, big blocks gets everybody going, so in the right mentality and attitude.
Okay, and you have to want to play defense. So where do you kind of think this mentality comes from? Is it from the coaches, just you all as players? Where do you think this comes from? Like you said, celebrating these block shots, celebrating, getting these clean sheets, because everyone wants to score. But how do you kind of have this defensive mentality on the team?
I think it comes from both. I think it's us and the coaches. Like I said, they've been pushing it, but kind of us wanting to go into this new year starting strong, going through the middle strong, ending strong. So kind of just those battles for each other, whereas our offensive line is doing their job. So us doing our job in order to kind of perform as one.
Yeah. And you kind of, last year was last year. This is a new season. What do you think kind of some of the new big challenges you all have faced so far that are different from last season?
Challenges, I would say not so much like challenge, but more so just trying to jive again. We've all came from different places. There's a few returners, so just kind of getting everybody on the same page might be the biggest challenge, but it honestly has not been that hard. So it's been nice.
And you have some big matches coming up, Spokane, Zephyr this weekend. How are you all kind of preparing for kind of a rematch against this team you already played them already, but how are you kind of getting ready, because they're one of the top teams right now, so how are y'all preparing for this big match?
Well, tomorrow we're playing Dallas.
Right.
Next weekend we're playing away at Spokane. So really focused on this weekend. Obviously we already played Spokane, so that one's kind of last week in the past. We're focused on getting through this weekend, but we're also looking to next weekend to build off of whatever we're going to have going on tomorrow.
Okay. Well, hopefully that means more wins, more clean sheets as well. Maddy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining us on Around the Pitch. We'll see you at the same time next week.